Hola, amiga. Welcome.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you going?
Oh, all good here. All good. Sunny day again, but everything is good. How are you?
Sunny day in beautiful Cancun, Mexico. Luisa Gonzalez is my guest today. And Luisa, we are teammates. You are a guest on my show again. How many times is that now you've been on the show?
I don't know. A lot.
A lot. But
A
we've
lot.
got some great news today, haven't we? Because we're launching a new series that we're doing here on Conversations with Humanity. Do you want to tell people what we're doing?
We came with the idea to make different topics, right? And talk about different topics every time. And the good news is that people is going to choose the topics
Yep,
that we are going to discuss here.
exactly. So this is the first episode, and what's happened is Luisa and I have decided that we've chosen a topic today that we're going to talk about. But going forward, we want you all to send in your suggestions for topics that Luisa and I will talk about during the show. So we're going to do the show once every fortnight, and we will discuss the topics that you send in. So please keep them clean and tidy, and we will make a choice of the ones that get sent in from the listeners. And Luisa and I will do our research, and we'll do our investigation, and then we'll share our opinions, and we'll see what we come up with in terms of just a general conversation about whatever's going on in people's minds.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, if you want to tell us what do you want to hear, tell us on social media or on YouTube, leave a comment, whatever you want to hear about. Yeah, and we will do it.
Yeah, and don't forget to connect with us on social media. We have a whole lot of places that you can find Humanity as an organization now. So you can go to our YouTube channel, first of all, which is Humaneity Channel. And don't forget, we spell Humanity H-U... I should show my t-shirt, right?
Yeah, that's way better.
Humaneity. That's how we spell humanity. And I won't ask you to do that with your t-shirt, Luisa, because you don't have a humanity one on.
No,
But
not yet. Not yet.
not yet. No.
Waiting the mail to
Yeah,
arrive.
how bad is that? I can't even send Luisa a t-shirt from Humanity because the post office is not working to Mexico. How terrible is that?
Yeah, exactly. And it's because of that we're talking about this topic, and I don't have a t-shirt, so yeah,
Shocking.
still waiting. Yes.
So as I was saying, we've got our YouTube channel, right? So it's Humanity Channel on YouTube, and please subscribe, because a lot of people come and check out the videos, but they don't subscribe, which is bad news for us. So subscribe and press the little bell there, because what happens is every time that we load a video up, you'll get notified that Humanity's just popped another video into our YouTube channel. So please do that. Where else can people find us, Luisa, in terms of social media?
On Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, of course. So yeah, just go there and check our work and tell us what do you think and what do you want to see and what do you want to listen, and yeah, be in touch with us.
Yeah, fantastic. And Luisa is our queen of social media, so you will not find me near the place, but she will be managing it all and taking care of it. And I've got to say, how long have you been working with us now?
2 months.
2 months. Well, you've done a
Yes.
fantastic job, and we've got a big surprise coming up in a couple of days for everybody that you've been working so hard on. We're not going to say anything about it today, but there's a big surprise. Luisa's been working really, really hard behind the scenes and creating something amazing for everybody out there to connect with humanity. And she's been doing an amazing job on social media as well. So thank you very much, Luisa, for all your hard work.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure. I really enjoy doing this.
And
It's
may it
amazing.
long continue, your hard work.
Yes, it will.
We need that
It
going
will.
forward. Now, today's
Yeah.
our first show together in this series, and we've decided to pick a topic I think that's pretty relevant for a lot of people around the world right now, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. It's something that we have in mind, and I know a lot of people is dealing with this topic. So we're gonna talk about relationships and COVID-19, and
We are.
yeah,
So I'm going to
yeah.
put up a little thing on the screen here so people can see. Our topic for today is, has COVID-19 affected your relationship? And chances are that it has in some way, because a lot of people are staying at home now and a lot of people are spending more time with each other. There's a lot of good things that are coming out of that, and there's also some things that we're going to discuss that aren't so pleasant. But I thought we'd kick this off today, Luisa, by talking about your relationship, because I want to deflect everything away from me, of course. So we will talk about your relationship. So first of all, are you in a relationship at the moment?
Yes, I am in a relationship during COVID-19. Yes, and it is hard. It's not easy because we don't live together and we are far. So this is the beginning of the conversation, dealing with this, any kind of relationship. But yes, using all the things we can to be together. But it is really hard.
Yeah, and that's a big part of the conversation today, because we've got people who are spending so much time together compared to what they are, and then we've got a situation like you're in, where you're not together in the same town, different town than your partner. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So different town than your partner, and a lot of people relying on Skype and Zoom and all these other things to stay connected. And I guess also learning a new way of communicating, right?
Yeah, yes, it is. It is so different. When this started, I think it's so different in any kind of relationships. Not only love, but friendship, with family. We understand now how to connect in many ways and to be there for them and to share whatever we are struggling with. And it's different because now we have the technology to make it. I can't imagine this situation, I don't know, 20 years ago to be so different, so different. And I'm not saying it's easy. It is not, but it's easier because we have, Skype, Zoom, social media, cell phones, so we can hear each other, we can watch each other, we can text, and it's easier for only for that.
So how's the dynamic of your relationship changed as a result of going into kind of a virtual world? Because when we talk about relationships, we've got the physical side, we've got the emotional side, and we've got the spiritual side of a relationship. Obviously, without the physical connection, you've got to rely on the emotional and spiritual connection that you have with your partner. Has that changed the dynamics of the relationship?
Yes, of course. Yeah, it changed everything. Everything you do, it's so different, right? You cannot go on a date, you cannot go to the movies, or you cannot go to a restaurant. You cannot do anything. So you have to take the time to send a text or make a Skype and really listen to the other person, whatever they want to share. And it is good. I'm seeing the bright side of this situation from the beginning. Not only on my relationship, but on many relationships, I'm trying to see the bright side of this situation, and it's really good if you try, because now you have the time to connect with people, with your partner, with your family, friends. You have the time. So now it's just about us to decide to do it. I'm not saying we have no work. We all have things to do, but it's different. We are not on traffic, driving, and things like that. So it's easier to have the time to connect with people. So yeah, it changed in many, many ways.
Do you think it's enhanced the relationship that you're having in some ways? Do you think it's actually made it better?
Yes. Yeah, that's for sure. It's way better because of that. Because we have to make the time to talk, to listen to the other person, to know that some days it's not easy. Some days it's way better, but some days it's not so easy to be apart, cannot travel, cannot be in the same place, cannot touch, cannot kiss, cannot do anything. and it's really hard. Yeah, so making the time and really connecting to the other person and listen and talking and sharing everything, be open all the time. It's been a change in my relationship, yes.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So do you think that when you look at, and again, I'm going to use your relationship as an example because you can tell us, what the truth is around it. But it's interesting because I see a lot of people who maybe not as good at communicators over the virtual platforms, right? So some people just don't like getting on Skype or texting or whatever. So are you and your partner kind of at the same level when it comes to that, or did he find it more difficult to engage in a virtual relationship sense?
It was difficult at the beginning because we don't love social media, like to be there all the time and all day. I think I'll do it because I have a good time with friends sometimes, and because it's my work and things like that. But for relationships, it's not the same. So at the beginning, it was a little bit hard, but we try at different hours of the day, and when we're not so busy, and it's working better and better because we now make the time every day to have short conversations or long conversations, dates. On weekends it's way better, and it's working. It's really working, and I don't know, we feel more relaxed with that. It's not the same, of course it's not the same, but we feel more relaxed and more open, and it's the new life now, so we have to embrace that and do the best.
So were you worried when COVID-19 started in terms of your relationship and going into this kind of new virtual situation? Were you worried that your relationship might not survive that, or it was going to be difficult, or I don't want to put you on the spot, but I am. But,
no, it's okay.
Yeah, but I'm just asking in terms. People are fascinated. I'm just fascinated how people are dealing with this whole thing. And the other thing is, you and I work together, right? So a relationship can be across lots of different platforms, and we have to manage working together in a virtual sense, and other people have a romantic relationship in the virtual sense. There's a lot of things that have been put to online as a result of what's going on with COVID-19, right? So I don't want to just stress today about, romantic relationships. We should also talk about business relationships and how people are dealing with that. But I wanted to know whether you felt as though your relationship was strong enough to survive going through this virtual situation for an indefinite period of time, because we just don't know how long it's going to be before the world's connected again, right?
Yeah. Well, at the beginning, I thought it's going to be 2-3 weeks. So I wasn't worried,
Right,
of course.
right.
Everybody was thinking, oh, okay, it's just a quarantine of 14 days and that's it. Right?
Yeah.
But after that, we saw that it was 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. And at some point, yes, I was a little worried because I think it's going to be hard. It's not the same. We don't see each other. We have no idea when we're going to see each other. But no, it was just a moment, and it was just a couple of days. We talk about that, and we talk about all the time because it is important. And it's important that we understand that it's out of our hands. And some days it's hard, some days it's easier. But no, it was just at the beginning that I was worried because I have no idea how to deal with that. Nobody knows. It's new for all of us. So yeah, I have to figure it out. But as you said, it's not only on romantic situations. We have the same situation, right? Working together, we have to figure it out when to talk and to use Skype or social media to connect. So it's kind of the same, yes.
Although I must say that Humanity doesn't have the travel budget yet for me to be flying to Cancun, Mexico to have business meetings with you every second weekend, yeah? So
No, not yet.
So we're pretty much stuck in the virtual world for our business connection, that's for sure. But I wanted to ask you, if I got your partner on the line now and asked him the same questions about communication and the relationship, what do you think he'd tell me about how he's found the whole process so far?
I think it's way easier for him. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I
Oh,
think it's
easier
way
for
too.
him to deal with
Yes.
this. Like, okay, okay.
Yeah, because I am a Gemini, so always in a hurry. I want all the things for yesterday, always. So it is hard for me to deal with that. It's hard for me to think that it's going to be at some point, but I have no idea when, and it's out of my hands.
Mm, mm,
I think if you ask him, he will tell you that it's easier for him.
mm.
Yes,
Okay.
I don't know.
Could be a man thing.
Maybe,
Could be a man thing going on
maybe. Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
there.
I think so. I think so.
I don't want to
Yes.
speak on his behalf, but maybe there's something related to that gender thing going on there. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe because yeah, it's not from all, but I think women see it different.
Now, you don't have children? Do you have children? No.
No, no.
Okay. So, that's another complexity in this. There's a lot of families around the world that have been separated during this time. Here in Australia, there's a big furor on at the moment about people that are stuck in other parts of the world and they haven't been able to get back to their family. So that's adding more stress in relationships and family units as well. And I don't know. Imagine how many, I don't know what the actual numbers are globally where families have been separated and somebody's on one part of the world and the other. It must be very, very difficult for those people, yeah?
Yes, and I think it's both sides of that story because a lot of families are separated, and yes, father, children, and it's not easy at all. Also, grandparents or uncles, and yeah, for family, it's really hard. But I think it's hard also for families that are stuck in the same place together, right?
Yeah.
It's not easy because they have to stay 24/7, and that is new also. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's new. So you have to stay with the kids and the wife and the husband 24/7, and
You're
make
laughing. You're
homeschooling.
laughing about that. That's very
I'm
difficult.
not laughing.
Sounds like you're happy to be away from your boyfriend for a while, yeah?
No, no, no. I'm happy I don't have kids and homeschooling, and
Yeah.
I know
Be
it's
very
it's
difficult.
really hard. Yes, I know it's really, really hard.
Mm.
I used to be a teacher, so I know, I really know how hard it is to have the kids there trying to learn in one place, stay, and it's really, really hard for the parents. It really is. So I think it's hard when you are together because it's different, and maybe they have troubles with money or work, and the kids are boring inside of the house, so it's not the same. And it's hard for families that are separated. So anyway, I think it's hard for everybody.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's talk about that because it brings us on to a point that I wanted to discuss today in terms of we've seen in all parts of the world. I'm in Australia, you're in Mexico. The virus is at different levels in different countries, so restrictions are different when it comes to lockdown and quarantine and all the rest of it. People are allowed out for certain periods of time in certain areas. How does the situation of COVID-19 in Cancun, where you are in Mexico, how does it limit your everyday life experience?
Okay, I can go anywhere I want except the beach. The beach is only open for the hotels. That's it.
Okay.
So I can go anywhere I want. Almost the restaurants are open, not full capacity, but they're open. So I can go almost everywhere, but I have to use a mask. They took your temperature when you got in. You have to put sanitizer on your hands. You have to clean your shoes. So it's a process. But people are trying to stay at home as much as they can, I think. People are trying to stay at home. Not on every place in Mexico, but here in Cancun it is good. But although there are a lot of tourists in the hotel zone, but it is not that hard as in any other cities in Mexico, like Mexico City or Guadalajara. It's way better here.
So Mexico, if I understand it correctly, Mexico is one of the worst hit countries when it comes to affected rates as well as deaths. So is there a bit of a fear in the community that when you do go out, like, are you nervous to go out to the supermarket and stuff?
I see both sides. People are really, really nervous, and they use the mask and some other thing in the face and gloves, and yes, there's a fear. And there's the other side that people, not here in Cancun, but in Mexico City, for example, they don't care and they don't use a mask and they walk and they use the subway, and the subway is packed every day. So, yeah, I know that people have to go to work. Of course, I know, but I know it's the government and the people is not making the best of this situation. We can do it better. Yes.
So there's all kinds of relationships that are being impacted. You have family members in Cancun, and in fact, sadly, you just lost a family member in Cancun. How did COVID-19 affect that relationship that you had with your grandmother who just passed away?
It was hard because at the beginning of the COVID-19, she didn't die because of that, but at the beginning, she had to stay at home all the time. She cannot go outside. We used to take, my mom and I, we used to take my grandma to have dinner or breakfast sometimes at a restaurant. And when COVID-19 started, she had to stay at home all day. And I think it was really hard for her because she has to stay in one place, not go outside, not see anybody, and not have visits, nothing. And maybe that affected her more than we thought. And it was hard because when she passed out, we cannot make a memorial or anything because of COVID-19. So, yeah, that affected us again because it was different. Yeah, it was so different.
Yeah, there's lots going on here, isn't there, in terms of relationships? We've talked about your own personal relationship, that with your family members. We've talked about working relationships. It goes without saying that this pandemic is causing chaos amongst all sorts of relationships. We talked about the elderly there with your grandmother, and this seems to be a sector of the community that's been really hard hit. Here in Australia, the aged care homes have been really decimated with a lot of outbreaks, and there's been a lot of conjecture and finger pointing at how that's been managed in Australia. These people are, separated from their grandchildren. They're not able to have a lot of visitors, if any at all. And then when an outbreak actually happens in one of these centres, it's killing a lot of people. So is that something that's being experienced in Mexico as well, with grandparents not being able to see their grandchildren?
No, in Mexico it's different because most of the grandparents live at the house with sons or daughters, grandchildren. Yep. It's not that common in Mexico to stay in a place like that. No, it's not that common. It happens, but it's not common.
Right.
No. So we don't have that kind of problem.
Okay, so there's a larger family unit existing in Mexico.
Yes.
So what's happened as far as infection rates then? Have a lot of those elderly people been getting affected at home because they are with their younger family members? Has that been happening?
Yes, because the young people go outside, maybe go to a reunion or a party, a small parties, of course, but something like that. They go on with the life, right? And yeah, the grandparents are at home, so the grandchildren or the daughter or something get in there and get infected. So yes, it is happening. Yes.
Well, that must be terrible because then the family member becomes responsible for passing it on to the elderly. That's really, really bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Now let's talk about the downside of what's going on as well. I'm just going to flash a few things up on the screen here because I was doing some homework before our show today, and there's a lot of changes in people's relationships. And I just want to read through a survey that I was reading about some of the key points that came out of the survey in terms of how relationships are being affected by COVID-19. And the first line here, 50% of people were challenged by their living arrangements during COVID-19 restrictions. Those who were challenged by their living arrangements were more likely to report changes to other close relationships, even with those that did not live with people they did not live with. So because people have been isolated, they feel differently about the relationships that they're in. They're having problems obviously communicating and seeing each other, so it's affecting their relationships. Have you spoken to any of your friends about how the COVID-19 experience is affecting their relationships?
Yes, yes. I spoke with many of my friends, and for some of them has been a blessing.
Mm,
It's weird.
mm.
It has been a blessing, and for some of them has been a disaster. Like, yeah, really terrible that couples being separated or trying to get divorced or something because it all changed, and maybe they're dealing with, yeah, with money problems or work problems, and their relationship and staying at the same place at the same time all day. It's hard, and for some of them it has been really a blessing and something magic and beautiful that happened this year, and they are changing their relationship in a really beautiful way. So it's both sides, as always.
So it's a very black and white thing, yeah? There's the positive and there's the negative that's going on. So can you give us any examples of your friends who have turned it into a positive thing? What have they done? Like, is there any secrets
Yeah.
that you can share about turning a relationship into a positive experience because of COVID-19?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I have a really good friend, and he's married since, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. And he used to live with his wife like 15 days every month, and 15 days he lives in a separate city because he has to go for work. Okay, so COVID-19 appears, and he has to stay with his wife full time
Right.
in the same city.
Yeah.
So it was a big, big, big change for them.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, it was crazy. It was fighting all the time, and it was really insane. And suddenly, something happened. They talk, and they really start communicating like never in their lives. And something changed. And now they're making exercise every day together. They go for a walk and watch sunrise every day. And they work together now, and they have a beautiful relationship because of COVID-19. So,
Wow, that's cool.
yeah, it was so, so beautiful. So I'm really happy for them because this bad situation made a big difference with them. And it is amazing. Yes.
And I'm sure there's lots of examples of that around the world. If you're listening into us today or watching the show and you've had a special rebirthing of your relationship because of COVID-19, why don't you reach out and tell us what you did or how you did it? We're really excited to hear, and Luisa will throw it all over our social media to
Yeah.
share with people on how you've reinvigorated your relationship. I've got one for you to share with you about a friend of
Oh,
mine,
yes.
Luisa. So yeah, I was talking to a friend the other night in Europe. He lives in a European country. I won't tell you which one. I have to keep him anonymous for reasons known only to him because he doesn't want to share it. But
Okay.
yeah, so he was telling me, we were just having a chat, and he said, "Oh, I'm in this new relationship." I said, "Oh, how did you meet each other?" And he said, "Oh, it was really bizarre. We were online dating." And I said, "Oh, right, what's bizarre about that? Like, I thought that's the new way of meeting people is online dating." And he said, "Well, it was until we organised to get together for our first date." And I said, "Oh, why? What happened?" And he said, "Well, we found out that we actually just live around the corner from each other, like literally 20 metres away from each other."
Really?
And he said, I was all stressed out because we had to worry about social distancing and having to, I was concerned that I have to drive across town to a restaurant or a cafe and be infected by other people. And
Sure.
he said, we were just round the corner from each other. Like literally I could walk out my door and go round the corner and there was her place. So I said, wow, that's a relationship of convenience. I said, that's going to be very good. So isn't that extraordinary?
Yes, that is not common at all. That is something magic or meant to be. I don't know.
Yeah,
that is really weird.
I told him to marry her because I said, this is a signal. This, you had to go online dating to find this woman that lives around the corner from you. So,
Yeah.
and then I asked him, I said, how long have you been living close to each other? And he said, 10 years, like 10 years. I said,
Really?
you must have seen her. Like, you must have walked past and thought, oh, she's quite nice or something. He goes, no, never seen her before in 10 years.
Wow. No. Yeah, they have to get married after this. This is
Extraordinary,
something
extraordinary.
Yes, it is. It's not Wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
So unfortunately, there's another side of the story that's going on with COVID-19, and that's that a lot of people are not able to handle the confining relationships that they're having to endure at the moment. And I just want to throw something else up on the screen here that I plugged out. And this is a sad one because 21 women have been killed violently so far this year in Australia, and they put this down to violent abuse at home, domestic violence. Another one here I've got as well that I'm going to throw up is no, not that one. I'm still learning how to use this thing. Here we go. So far today, police in Australia would have dealt with, on average, 580 domestic violence matters. So there's a lot of this going on, and I just wanted to spend a minute or two talking about this today, Luisa, because it's a global thing. It's not just in Australia, and unfortunately, we're seeing the rise of this as families and couples go through a higher stressed environment. A lot of people have lost their jobs because of COVID-19. A lot of people are under huge financial stress, and some of that hasn't even started yet because a lot of the government support mechanisms that are in place in lots of different countries around the world hasn't been removed yet. And my fear is that when that is actually removed, we're going to see even a bigger increase in some of the struggles that families are having at home. So, yeah, this is really, really sad. And under no circumstances in my book is there any need for violence or abusive behaviour. If you're out there listening to this today and you're in a situation that you're not happy with, sit down and communicate or leave and leave peacefully, because we have to respect each other now more than ever in this world that we live in, because we're in a very tough situation. Everybody's got problems and challenges that they're confronting. Luisa's over there in Mexico. She can't see her boyfriend at the moment. She's dealing with stress. She's got to put up every day with working with me here in Australia, so she's got more stress around that. But there's people out there that have got much more greater levels of stress than that, and it's pushing people over the edge. And I just wanted to bring this into a case of awareness that it's got to stop. We've all got to band together and look out for each other. If you know of somebody that's in an abusive relationship and is having trouble at home, do something to help them. Don't stand by and just watch it occur, because unfortunately these things can end fatally, and someone's life being taken away because of this is unacceptable. And we all have a responsibility as a society to look after each other. Luisa, do you want to say something about this whole situation of domestic violence and abuse?
Yes, there is no excuse for anybody, no men, no women. There is no excuse to do that. No verbally, no physically, no nothing. But yes, you raise a point. If you know that someone is struggling with that, do something. Or ask for help to help that person, because it is really important, and it's everywhere. It's not only in Australia, it's not only in Mexico, it's everywhere, and it's hard for everybody. So if you cannot deal with this, there's no excuse, of course, but there's always a way.
Yeah. And I want to stress also that in today's show, we're not just talking about romantic relationships. A lot of family relationships are under a huge amount of stress and pressure at the moment, and people are spending more and more time than they probably ever have. And isn't that ironic, Luisa? I was just thinking about this yesterday, actually. I was thinking about the fact that when you get together with someone in a relationship, your first thought is, wow, I want to spend every minute of every day with that person, right?
Yeah, sure.
And I'm so in love with that person, and they're so fantastic, and I want to spend all my time with them. And yet here we are, you've got the opportunity to do that, and look what's happening. A lot of people can't handle it. So I was just I was having a chat to Oscar about it actually yesterday, and I was saying to Oscar, maybe there should be a rule when people get together in a relationship that they should spend 24 hours a day together for a month before they make a commitment to carry on the relationship. What do you think of that idea?
Totally agree. Yes, totally agree.
Have you done that with your boyfriend? Have you spent a month in solitary confinement with him to find out all of his nuances and whether
Not
he
yet.
snores all the time?
Not yet. Not yet, but we will.
Actually, I was reading about that
Yeah.
the other day, that a huge amount of relationships are affected by snoring men.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
it's a real thing. Like, it's a big
Yes,
thing,
it
yeah.
is. Yes, it is.
And I was doing some research for the show, and I thought, okay, let's look at all the ways that couples have issues in their relationships. And one of the biggest issues is that women can't stand men snoring. Like,
Yeah,
really?
that is true. That's the number one. Yes, that is number one. I
And
think.
do you know in a relationship, I'm going to start quoting some statistics now. In a relationship, when that happens, 79%, that's a very large number, of couples end up sleeping in separate rooms. Did you know that?
No, I had no idea.
So there you
But
go.
I can do that. Yeah, sure.
79% of couples sleep in separate rooms for those that are affected by snoring.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
But yes, it is. It is a big deal. So
And we
imagine
can't blame
COVID-19
COVID-19 on that.
No, it is crazy. It's too much pressure.
Too much
Yes.
pressure. Yeah.
It's too much pressure. It's easy for you because women don't do that.
Oh, women don't do that. So there's no women snorers out there. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, they are, but not so much.
Okay. So what about other ways that relationships are being affected at the moment? Have you got anything else that you want to throw out there about ways that you've seen or heard of relationships that have, prospered or faltered during these difficult times?
I think I want to talk about the positive side of this because from the beginning I started to think about the positive side, and I don't know why, but it's working for me. It worked all these months, and I always have time and connect with my friends, with my closest friends. I have the time to have chats or things like that. But now in this time, I see that it's not only me. It's not only this way. There are a lot of people doing that and really connected with friends and family members using Skype, Zoom, wherever they have, and doing all the time. It's insane. You cannot buy a webcam or a microphone or something like that online because everybody's buying, right? That happens. So a lot of friends and family members far away, or maybe not far, maybe in the same city, but they don't want to see each other in the same house. So they are using this kind of communication, and now people is taking the time to really connect with the other and listen and be more open and talk about past, present, future, dreams, all of that. So I see the bright side on many cases with parents and children that live far, and now they have more connection, not only a phone call during weekends and that's it. Now they can take the time and see each other's faces and really talk and engage, and it's beautiful.
It's a very unique time in the history of mankind, womankind as well, in terms of having a relationship and starting a relationship as well. Compared to your previous relationships, how has this relationship been different in terms of, because of COVID-19, other than the obvious, communicating virtually and all the rest of it? Is there a different way of looking at the relationship now because of the way that we're seeing relationships?
Yes, it's totally different. Totally different. Because on the other relationships, you can go on a date. You can go and take lunch, dinner, go to the movies, go to the theater, go to the beach, wherever you want to go hiking, whatever you want to do. And now you can't do anything. Nothing. Just start in front of the computer and talk. That's the only thing that you can do. Or you can write or text or do something like that. So yes, this relationship now, for me, it's way different because we take all the time to be open and talk about everything we have in mind every aspect, every opinion, and just really listen. We have no distractions. We don't have any kind of distractions, like traffic or a movie or anything. Nothing. It's just the person there talking and you listening and sharing and laughing. So yes, it is really different. At least for me, it is.
I think
I don't know for you.
I think you're going to have 100.
Sailboat.
I think you're going to have hundreds of thousands of people connecting with you after this to get relationship advice.
Yeah, it could be.
I think I'm going to lose you as part of the Humanity team. You're going to be able to set up your own consultancy around relationship advice after this video.
I would love that, but I'm still with you in Humanity. Don't worry. But I don't know. Do you see different? Because you live in a sailboat with Oscar, right?
Yeah.
That is your normal life.
Yeah.
So something changed for you both, or Oscar is having the same life, he's barking all the time, and nothing affected him, and you did change something?
Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah. It's an interesting question because in the beginning I found it quite hard to be empathetic with others because I didn't understand the restrictions that it was having on everybody's life to the extent that it is, because as you said, I'm very isolated from what's going on in the world, right? So and that's actually by choice. One of the reasons that I chose to live on a sailboat was to have the life of freedom where I can come and go and do what I want to do. I can live off grid. I'm not reliant on anybody else. And if I get sick of the world out there, I can just push off from the dock and go and sail away, basically, right? And it has its downsides. So when it comes to socializing and, all those sorts of things, but in this particular time that you're asking me about, nothing's changed at all for Oscar and I. We go about our business, and as you know, you're part of the Humanity team now, and we're very focused on what we're doing. And it was extraordinary what you just said, actually, because I went to order something for the podcast show a couple of months ago from a technology store, and they said, we're out of stock, you won't be able to get it for ages, right? So you just talked about that, and every man and his dog and his wife and his girlfriend want to start a podcast show now. Everybody wants to do a podcast show, right? So it's a fantastic time to start a podcast show because there's zillions of people in the world that want to do a podcast show. But in 6 months' time and 12 months' time, that'll be very different because it's a bit of a trend, and people will find out how hard it is to actually do this and to do it all the time. But no, it's been really unique for us because we just go about our daily life, and of course we see people when we go out and all the rest of it. But a lot of people are very cautious; they're very much into the social distancing thing. So yeah, my life, my world is online with my friends around the world, you included. People that I work with and stuff, and it's never been easier to connect with people. And one of the things I wanted to ask you, though, about what you just said before, about your own relationship, has it created a larger degree of authenticity in your relationship because you're having these deeper conversations by Skype and stuff? Have you been able to realize that there's a deeper meaning to your relationship? Is that true or not? What do you think?
For me, it's not that different because for me, communication and being authentic and honest and be open, I don't have problems being open. So it didn't change in that aspect. But I am sure for many people, yes, it changed, and it makes it more real, more easy to understand, or maybe the other side, it might be more difficult to understand and to have these kind of situations. For me, it's not, because it's easier for me to be open and have open conversations about any subject, and for me it's the same. But I think it's not so easy for everybody having these kind of situations, just talking far away and trying to understand the other one without touching, without being in the same place, right?
Yeah, interesting. So what about tools and that people can use? So there's a lot of, I'm big into meditation and exercise and all that sort of stuff, and good nutrition. I think all those components are really important as well at the moment during these tough times, because if people are at home and they start eating rubbish and they start being lazy, that all brings negativity into their life as well. What's your program around that? What do you do every day to keep yourself, excited and motivated and inspired, other than working for humanity, of course?
That was going to be my answer, of course. Working with you, that's the only thing. No, I start my day working a little bit, like 5 minutes of what I'm going to do and put it all in my head. And then I start with exercise. So I took a shower, have breakfast, and for that moment I feel relaxed, not stressed. And when I start working before lunch, I took a time for meditation. So it's easier for me to do it in the middle of the day when I'm really tired and I start like stressing by my boss or something like that. So that's the perfect moment for me.
I can't imagine that happening. I think your boss is a really nice guy. He's looking after you.
Yeah, he is. It's the time when he's going to wake up and I'm ready to listen all that he wants. So that's my moment of meditation, and it is for me. It's working good, but also it's not only for me. I see a lot of people around here. I live in a private place, and a lot of people is running in the mornings. That nobody does that never. It's just like COVID-19 appears and everybody's running outside.
Right.
It is good. I think it's really good because you see it from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. because it's too hot after that. But you see runners everywhere, and it's crazy. Everybody's running, and that is good, right? Exercise.
Yeah.
It's a good idea, yeah.
We've had that here as well. Actually, going back to what you asked me about the changes for Oscar and I, the big change has been the number of dog walkers out now. There's more and more people walking dogs than I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's extraordinary. We used to go to the park and there was like 1 or 2 running around, and now there's like 10 or 15 every time we go out. And Oscar's a little bit upset about that. He's written a letter to the local council to ask them to limit the number of dogs that are allowed out on certain days of the week. He thinks it's a good idea to have a ban on Monday, Wednesday and Friday for dogs of certain kinds. So he's trying to get he's busy. My dog's busy. He's doing some good stuff for humanity as well. Yeah.
I see that. Yeah. But that is normal because people used to not have time to that, right? They don't have the time to walk the dog and play with children and do all this kind of stuff. They don't have time. And now they have plenty of time.
Yeah.
So
and
now it's the excuse to go outside. Oh, I have to walk the dog like 20 times a day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. And I think we're seeing a lot of that on YouTube. If you look at a lot of the things that are happening, families are doing cooking together. They're doing, going out and exploring places together that they didn't have time to do before. So there's a lot of positiveness in that. I was talking to a guy the other day who's a friend of mine who's got 2 kids, and he said, it's been great. We've been able to do so much more with the kids than we've ever done. I've got another couple that are moving their kids into university and taking care of finding them apartments and doing all that. And he said, if I had to go to work, I wouldn't have the time to do this and all that. So there are so many positive experiences that are coming out of this. I'm just wondering what's going to happen when things change back to, I don't want to ever call it normal again because I don't think we're going there, but when things change back to the stage where, everyone's rushing around again, what's it going to be like? What's it going to be like in your relationship when you finally get to do what you want to do, right?
I'm on the bright, positive side. I'm so sorry, but I think a lot of people is going to be used to be close to the loved ones, not only your boyfriend or no, also your parents, your sister, your friend, everybody. So I'm sure people is going to be used to be close to them and enjoy time. So I think people is going to be ready to travel and go back to normal. Yes, but I don't think they're going to lose that kind of connection because we have it for many months. And I believe, or I want to believe, that a lot of people is going to understand how important it is and how good that makes you feel to really have the time to connect with others. Doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah, okay, that sounds really good. Now, what's the plan for the relationship? So, do I need to be buying a ticket to come to a wedding in Cancun sometime in the not too distant future, or what's going on?
Yeah, I think you should. I think you should.
Oh,
You
really?
have to
So
start saving money.
it's
Yes.
pretty serious, this, eh?
Yes, it is. So yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Let's finish with COVID-19 first, and then I'll let you know if you need to.
Well,
Let's save.
I told you in a humorous way the other day, you're not getting any younger. You need to put your roots down and start planning your future. Yeah.
Thank you. You're amazing. Yeah, I know. I know. I'm not getting any younger. I know. It's now or never. I
Well,
know that.
I probably just destroyed my opportunity to get an invitation to your wedding. But if it does happen, I'd love to come back to Cancun. It was probably, how long ago was it? 25 years ago when I was in Cancun last. So I'd love to come back and go to the Hard Rock Cafe.
Oh, you have to. Yeah, you're still invited. Don't worry, and I will take you there. And I will take you. Yeah, many places. Cancun is way so different now than 25 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I bet it
it's
is.
so
I
different.
bet it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. So, any other wonderful tips? Because you're our relationship consultant now. Like you've just turned yourself into this guru of positive, inspirational talk for people in their relationships. So, have you got anything you want to throw out there before we wrap up today, our first episode together on the Conversations with Humanity series?
I want to say something. I think it is important now more than ever to try to understand uh, the other person, wherever who she is or he is. It is really important because we are struggling with this in many different ways. It is not the same for anybody, and there are maybe some days that is all bright and shiny, and there are some days that you have only a gray cloud on top of you. So it is important to really listen and try to understand and be patient and be there for your friends, be there for your family, be there for whatever needs you, because it is important. This is the time to listen to the others and try to make the best before this finish and before you lose that moment.
That's beautifully said. Very beautifully said. Yeah, I agree. I think in terms of, we've had a bit of fun with this today, but in all seriousness, there's that other side of the whole situation that's going on. And you've mentioned the words a number of times: respect, communication, openness, transparency. A lot of people are going through difficult times because they've lost their job and they're having to find new ways of making money and to move on. The same about relationships. It might be the end of your relationship. It might be coming to the end of something that just can't be repaired. And this particular experience through COVID-19 is making you realize that. And you may have to move on to something new. But that's everybody's choice, right? So that can also be a positive thing. It doesn't need to be a negative thing. New beginnings are often very good. They can be very fearful for a lot of people. They can be a lot of challenge for people. But I think in terms, if you do go into any situation that you're in at the moment, looking at the bright side, looking at the great things that can come out of it, then you will move on and you will have a happier life in the future. And I believe that about COVID-19 as well, Luisa. And we've got a travel show here, we've got a business show. You've been listening to all my guests, and there's a lot of positivity out there. There's a lot of people that are really pumped up about the exciting opportunities that exist. And the same can be said in relationships. If it's not working for you today, understand why, try to fix it. If it can't be fixed, then move on and do it gracefully, do it respectfully, and do it quickly, because, turning the page fast instead of letting these things linger on, there's nothing worse than living with pain for a long period of time. And, get on to start the new life, because it's exciting for everybody, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And it's time to make the decisions. Doesn't matter if it's about your work, business, or your partner. Yes, this is the time to make decisions. Yes.
Yeah, cool. Okay, well, look, we're going to wrap it up, but before we do, we're going to talk about our next episode. It's coming up in 2 weeks' time, and we're going to ask people to Send us your topics that you'd like Luisa and I to talk about. If you've got a couple of things, we might even take on a couple of topics per episode, yeah, if we find some things that are interesting. So just drop us a note on social media, and Luisa will respond to you, because I'm not going to be hanging around that place too long. And let us know what you want to talk about. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel at Humaneity Channel. And don't forget, it's spelt like this. This is how you spell humanity.
Yes.
So check us out and join us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Connect with us. We've got some amazing shows where I've been talking to some incredible people across the world about their travel experiences, about their businesses, and how they're leading. And a lot of this has to do with relationships as well, which has been our topic of today, Luisa, yeah, because a lot of the business leaders have talked about the importance of the relationships they had with their employees and with their customers, and how they've been managing those relationships have been vital to their success during COVID-19. So check out some of those business episodes, and you will hear from some really amazing people around the world. I want to thank you for your time today, Miss Mexico. It's been fantastic to have you here. And you can go away now and tell your boyfriend all about the things that you spoke about him on the show. And
Yes.
actually, if he wants to come on the show next time, I can have a chat to him, and I can just check to make sure all the information he says is the same as what you said as well, right?
That's a good idea. Yes, that's a really good idea. Yeah.
But no, seriously, thank you
so
very much for coming on. It's been great fun having you here, and I'm already looking forward to doing the next episode with you in a couple of weeks' time, and we'll see what people come up with as topics for us to talk about.
Yeah, it's really excited. So yes, let us know, and thank you so much for this amazing opportunity.
Have a good night over there, and of course I will speak to you tomorrow.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much. Bye bye.